Hey everyone, well done for your workout or your run or anything you just did. Or maybe you just got out of bed today and you're like, I know I need to get a bit of a stretch in. So, well done for showing up, first of all. Hello, my name is Emma. We're going to do a lovely little 10-minute stretch. A little bit of focus on those calves and ankles, often neglected, but super, super important for all of us. So a little bit of a focus on there, but as always, a well-rounded stretch to make sure that particularly those quads, those hamstrings, those glutes have a bit of love as well. We're going to start standing. So when you're ready, we're actually going to bring ourselves straight into a wide leg fold. So feet about 2 or maybe 3, depending on how much space we've got in these legs today. Hip distances apart, shoulders rolled back and down. Let's just take a deep breath. And as you breathe out, hinge at these hips, fold forwards, let your fingertips come down. And starting to notice where that tension is. Is it in the hamstrings? Is it in those calves? Is it the hips? Maybe your back. Just be heavy here. Let your head drop down. Maybe you want to rock side to side. Take a small bend in either leg as you move left and right. Just giving yourself a moment to relax, particularly if you just finished something, starting to reconnect with that slow breath. Taking both hands over towards the left side, your left foot. And just give this left leg a big hug. So hopefully here that's going to aid a bit of a stretch down the back of this left leg. Through those hamstrings, maybe through down to the ankle. Really press down through the foot. I know you're probably a bit tired, but I promise it'll feel better afterwards. So really press down through that left leg. Starting to walk your hands away from the left side and over to the right. Drawing yourself in towards this right leg now. So squeeze that right leg in, give it a nice big cuddle. Again, feeling that stretch on the back of the leg, maybe through to the ankle. Letting go, walking both hands over towards your left side. Turning your feet to face the front or the longer or the shorter edges, of your mat. Both knees are straight for now. Take a deep breath in, lift the chest. As you breathe out, start to fold your way down over this left leg. Another one of those, breathing in to lift. Breathing out to lower. From here, starting to bend through this left knee, we're going to lift up into a high lunge. So that right leg stays straight, press back into the heel, but it can be lifted off the ground or your mat. Lift the arms up, coming up into a lovely high lunge. Now for me, I need to wiggle this a little bit because I've got a bit of space in my hamstrings today. So see how you feel. You may want to shorten or lengthen your stance. Thinking about lifting up through this back leg. And I know, as I said, we're a bit tired, so we're not going to be working too hard. We're not going to be pressing into this. We're just trying to work on our recovery. And sometimes that does mean working through the stretch and slowly easing yourself into it. So press away into that right leg. On your next breath in, start to lift up, straighten through both legs. As you breathe out, come lower. Good. One more of those. Breathing in to lift. And breathing out to lower. Starting to bring your hand down inside this left foot. Then we're going to rock forwards and backwards. Lower those hips down. You're going to rock forwards and backwards through this right ankle. Again, stretching into those right heels. Now, if you've been doing trails or a load of hills or something, then our ankles, our feet, they take on a lot of the work. So do pay some attention there. Starting to walk your hands into the middle, back into that wide leg fold. Let your body just hang over there for a moment. And then we'll walk over towards our right side. Feet facing forwards, or maybe backwards, depending on where your mat is. As before, starting to make our way up into that high lunge. So lift up that back heel. Bend through this right knee, lift the arms up. Straightening through that back leg to really press away into the foot. Feel free to wiggle it further if you need, or maybe a bit closer. Next breath in, straighten both legs, lift your weight all the way to the top. Breathe out, come down. Good, another one just like that, breathing in to lift high. Awesome, breathe out to lower. Hands coming down. towards this front leg. So slowly lowering down those hips and rocking forwards and back into the left ankle. So sometimes our toes as well don't get any love, but they do keep us running. Starting to bring that left knee down now, taking our hips back into a half splits. Now, normally here we'll be really focusing on stretching through our hamstrings, but today I want you to not worry about that too much, so the hips can come slightly further forwards, and think about really taking some big circles through these ankles. So we're rolling around, pointing your feet, almost like we're taking semicircles. If you've got a mat, you might be able to almost draw a semicircle with those toes. Taking it in the other direction now, switch it up. Okay, turning to face the side. We're going to turn those left knees out to the edge. Turn your right toes to face that long edge of the mat. Our left toes are tucked behind us. Fingers out in front. Moving into a nice adductor stretch. Take those hips back. And then again, thinking about lifting up those right toes, pointing and flexing through the foot. Now, I know this can feel a little bit odd. Stay with me. Just find that movement, even with that stretch through the inside of your thigh. You might find that your whole leg starts to roll through the hip. That is all good. The movement here is good. Of course, if it's too much, ease off. Listen to your body. Bring yourself back up. And we'll repeat that on the other side. So your left knee now, coming down towards your mat. We're turning to the other edge of our mat. Sorry, your right knee coming down to the mat. I think I just said left. Our left foot is in front of us. Send the hips back. Fingertips on the ground. Lift up those left toes and let's start those semicircles through this left foot. Aiming to keep our backs fairly straight. Switch up the direction of those circles because we don't want to be lowering down and kind of hunching up, rolling the shoulders. We've still got space through those chests. Remember, our upper body's still been working hard. It's not all about the legs, so we still want to give it some space, some room. And let's come on to those adductor stretches on this side. We're turning to face the long edge of the mat. So your right toes behind you, left leg out to the side. Fingertips reaching out in front. Send the hips back. Start to turn up those left toes. Take some circles, rocking, rolling. You may find some spaces here that you haven't necessarily looked at before or thought of. Okay, turning back to face this left leg. We're going to bring it underneath us into all fours. Toes tucking behind us. Let's make our way up into a downward dog. And if we have tight calves, this is always the go-to stretch because it is just so helpful. So pedal it out, rock side to side. In fact, take a bit of a longer moment on one side if you really want to stretch down into one heel. Just take a moment there to press through that foot. It doesn't matter if it doesn't reach the ground. So often we see something online or someone else doing something and we think, oh, that's the way we must do it. But really, it's all about feel. Can you feel that stretch? Is it working for you? Maybe you can find a variation that works better. And that will depend on the day, depend on how your body's doing, what you've been up to. Little rocks, side to side. Taking your feet a bit wider now. Walking them out towards your mat edges. Walking your hands back towards those feet, moving into a low squat. Maybe your knees crack like mine, lift up tall. And then walking them back out into your downward dog. Wiggle the feet around again. 2 more of those. So feet out at mat width apart. Start to walk them back. Walk your hands back, towards your toes. Lift up tall through the crown of the head. And then walking back out in front. Lift through those hips. This time stay still. Just see if we can have that space, particularly with those feet slightly further apart. Trying to lift our hips up nice and high. Press down through the feet at the edges of the mat. Good. Start to walk those hands back last time. All the way back. And then bringing your hands around to one side. Bring your feet out in front of you. Now here is where if you have a strap, you may want to grab it. If you do not have one, do not worry. We're just again going to work through those feet. So we can do this without a strap, or we can do it with one. So if you do have something, maybe you want to wrap it, even a towel actually works quite well. Wrap it around the sole of your foot. And we're just going to start to lift up through this leg, but really press the foot away. And if you have just your hands, you can hold on with the hand, or maybe you just want to hold on to your shin or your ankle, your calf. If we have that strap, try and put it towards the top of the foot. And then hold it with the hand. So we're quite supple with this upper body. We're trying to press the heel away. And then start to send those toes forward. So if we're just holding on to the ankle, we're still doing the same movement, flexing and relaxing the foot. Or flexing and extending is what I mean. Start to lower down that leg. We'll switch over, taking the same thing onto the other side, lifting up your foot. Maybe your strap is around the foot, maybe it's just your hands, or maybe you're on your ankle. We're fairly supple through this upper body, but of course we're still holding that weight if we're holding onto a strap. Start to extend and then flex. Extend and flex. Last one, extend and flex. Release. It's a bit of space, a bit more room through those ankles. So important. As you take your next breath in, lift the arms all the way up. Reaching them forwards. Aiming for toes, but maybe just holding on to your shins, your ankles. This time trying not to hold a strap here. We're just going to stay a bit softer. So our feet are still flexed towards us. We've got lovely long spines. We're seeing where we can get to. Close the eyes, take a deep breath. And then rolling your way back up to seated. Keeping your legs out long, or if it is more comfortable for you, bring them up to a cross-legged position to finish up. Let your hands fall down anywhere that's comfortable. Big roll of those shoulders. 2 releasing breaths to finish off. Take a nice big breath in. Side out through the mouth. 1 more of those, breathing in. Exhale. Very well done. Thank you so much. I hope your legs are feeling that little bit more recovered. Enjoy whatever you are doing for the rest of your day. See you soon.